Hello everybody, this is Daily Yap number 5, I think, and today I want to talk about how nature helps you. So in a previous video, I think the last one, I said that I come from a big city, from Santiago, the capital of Chile, and now I'm living in Pucón. And as you can see, it's a very green place. I don't live like in the town. This is like a kilometer from the town, but it's pretty well connected. And all around this place there's like a lot of nature. So for the more than 6 months I've experienced what it feels to live close to nature, which is something that I've wanted to do for the longest time, but in Santiago it's not really like a thing unless you live in the borders of the city. So I wanted to share my experience, like how does it feel, why is it good. And to start with that first point, like how does it feel? It feels natural, you know? It might be redundant, but it is that way, you know? It feels like you're going with the flow of nature and, you know, well, the universe or whatever you live. But what I'm saying is that why this is helpful is because nature, like all things, have a rhythm to it. You know, like you know when the birds are going to make their sound. I don't know how you say that in English. Like they don't bark, well, whatever. Well, when the birds make their sound. And you can also tell like the other animals, you know, there are cats, there are rabbits here, and they all follow like a pattern. And you're like constantly seeing that, like through your experience. When I'm like in my home and I'm working from office and suddenly I see left, what do I see? I see, you know, the animals, I see the birds, and I see the trees. You know, the trees are also something that's really interesting, at least to me, because, you know, usually you think of a tree as something that's like static, right? Like a tree doesn't do much, but I've realized that they move so much. Of course, yeah, with the wind, and you can say like, oh yeah, whatever. But no, like that thing, you know, that movement that the trees have with the wind is something that feels so peaceful, so good. I remember when I was in university and I was like really stressed for a couple of my exams. I was like, isn't it crazy? Like I'm here in my room, you know, like super stressed about this topic that's probably like differential equations or thermodynamics. And all that I want is just to sit under a tree and see the wind go through their leaves. And now I can do that. And now that I can do that, I understand why I wanted that so much. Because it's so calming. That's the thing. The nature is so calming for us human beings. Even when you have bad weather, you know, even when you have, let's say, a cloudy day or a rainy day or a very rainy day, because that sure happens here, it still feels so right, you know. That's the thing. It's like, oh, this is the natural flow of things, the natural flow of the world, and not it's so much different to my experience in the city. I feel like in the city, you know, you hear the cars, you hear the people screaming, you hear just all the noise and like the busyness, and that rhythm is so much faster and non-stop than the rhythm that you have here in nature. And I say rhythm, well, because I'm a musician, but it really feels that way, you know. Like when you hear, for example, a bird, like I'm hearing the birds right now, they do sounds and then they do like, you know, short burst of that sound, or maybe they do a longer thing but then they stop and then they do it again. So you can see that like in nature you like go to a certain rhythm and then like stop, take your time and then go again. Whereas in the city, if you think about it, like what do you hear? You hear the noise of mostly the cars, right? And those machines, they are constant, which of course for the car is really good, right? You want a constant push of force for acceleration and all of that. But for you human, it's like you're not a machine, you know. You're not supposed to go ta 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 like all the time. And if you do that, it's, you know, for a short amount of time, and then you rest and then you take it easy, or maybe you go a little bit slower, you know, you go tan 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 tan. And I'm not talking about any activity in specific. This is more like a state of mind. But in the busy city, you only feel that. You only feel like, the push for like going to a certain rhythm, go kind of fast, and go tan 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 all the time. And I think that for me, that was really tiring, because it felt like I was training, and I was like, but from what? Sometimes I'm like resting, Sometimes I was like resting or just walking through the city, and I was like, I still feel a little bit of strain. Where does that strain come from? And once again, this is just my personal experience, but I feel like it comes from the rhythm of life that the city pushes you to have, whereas nature makes you adapt to that rhythm, to the nature rhythm. So people say like, oh yeah, here in the countryside of, I don't know, the country, life is slower. And I realized that it's not slower. It's just that people are more calm, but you still have the same 24 hours. Like I still find plenty, and I mean plenty of time to be productive. Like I've been improving guitar, I've read some books, actually so many things that I wanted to do when I was in the city and I wasn't able to. So it's not that things are slower, but they go at a pace that's more in tune with what us humans are by design, by nature. So yeah, well, anyway, this has been a little bit of a ambiguous daily yap. I didn't have the idea so well thought before recording this, but hey, this is part of the process. So yeah, I don't know if anyone resonates with what I'm saying. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.